Hey, what's going on everybody? Diptesh here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will take a look at the performance and more importantly, the throttling behavior of the iQOO Neo 10 with the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. More than per game performance, it is more critical to understand that when and how a particular device throttles, as that will give you an indication about performance in different weather conditions. But before all that, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It will not cost you any money, but making these videos costs me a lot of money and effort, as these are non-sponsored videos. I purchase these retail units and I also have a very heavy professional career in IT, so making these videos is really exhausting for me after 10-hour work days. So please consider subscribing and turning on all notifications. With that said, there is a lot to check out in this video, so let's get going. Okay. So all the tests are performed in monster mode. So first I started with a CPU throttling test, 50 threads for 20 minutes. And the iQOO Neo 10 did a pretty good job. It only throttled by 12% and maintained a very high average of nearly 460,000 giga instructions per second. CPU temps were in the 100 degrees centigrade range and maximum battery temperature hit was 47.6 degrees centigrade while maintaining an average of 9.12 watts of total SoC power. This is good. I want to see high performance regardless of high temperatures because I am consciously choosing to use monster mode. I don't want to see aggressive throttling in monster mode, otherwise what's the point? Okay, next I will run AnTuTu 3 times back to back without break, once again to see the throttling characteristics. Keep an eye on the temperatures. So in the first run, we get a score of 1.97 million, so around 8% slower than a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 flagship. We hit a maximum of 45.5 degrees centigrade. Running again, scores drop by 3%, which is completely fine, and we hit a maximum of 49.8 degrees centigrade, which happened during the GPU rendering section. Running again the third time, scores drop by another 1%. Again, that's respectable with a maximum temperature of 50.6 degrees centigrade. This is very good performance in my book. Next, let's test the big one, 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme, and this is where I was disappointed with the flagship iQOO 13. So will the iQOO Neo 10 do the same? Let's see. And unfortunately, this is a very disappointing result, worse than the iQOO 13. It is baffling to see why this happens because the temperature didn't even hit 40 degrees centigrade, so why this aggressive throttling? So I did the same like I did last time with the iQOO 13, and that is I installed the 3D Mark as an AnTuTu package and retested. And you can already see a huge difference. It is a damn shame that I cannot show you the GPU clock speeds of the 8S Gen 4 using both Scene and CPU Float app. Neither shows the GPU load nor the clock speeds, but you can easily tell the difference between the two runs by looking at the GPU temperatures, SoC power, and simply the much higher FPS. Finally, the result is pretty clear. iQOO still only allows full performance when it detects that a specific whitelisted application is running, like AnTuTu, and I hate this behavior. It is disingenuous, it's benchmark cheating, it makes me nervous as to in which game will the iQOO phone unlock its maximum GPU performance and where it will not. iQOO advertises AnTuTu performance all over its marketing materials, and it's pretty clear why they do so and how they achieve such high and consistent performance in AnTuTu specifically and not in others. Even if iQOO Neo 10 performs well in other games, this is a simple proof that iQOO only allows the absolute peak performance when it detects that the app running is AnTuTu. Now, I wanted to do my usual Grid Legends test. Unfortunately, the game is not compatible at the moment, so I downloaded Grid Autosport, which landed on Android in 2019. It is nowhere near as graphically intensive as Grid Legends, but I manually cranked the settings to absolute high by modifying the internal configuration, disabling dynamic resolution and setting the rendering resolution to the screen's native resolution of 2800 by 1260. And the game still looks epic and like the second best looking game on Android still. And the iQOO Neo 10 did pretty well, I guess. I mean, I cannot see the GPU clocks, but I am 100% sure that the game is completely GPU bound. And by the looks of the GPU temperatures, it is definitely not throttling as it did in 3D Mark, and definitely it is GPU bound because the GPU temperatures are still pretty high. That being said, the device did sustain higher temperatures when I was running 3D Mark as AnTuTu application, so take it for what it is. I think the Neo 10 is not doing any funny business here in this game because the maximum temperatures by the end of this short test was 47.7 degrees centigrade, and it maintained a very high SoC power of 9.13 watts, which is good. I think this is actually a bit better sustained power than what the iQOO 13 did in Grid Legends. I know it was a different test, but if my memory serves me right, the iQOO Neo 10 did better than the iQOO 13. It was a different game again, but the concept is the same. Next, I tried GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition with PC graphics mod, and here you can see that I've enabled all the graphical options from the PC release. Do note, the real FPS is what you see in the pill-shaped FPS counter, ignore the mini monitor. So I have enabled maximum graphics with maximum resolution scale, and I am a bit puzzled once again. I'm not able to see the GPU clocks because the GPU temperatures aren't always that high as it should be. So maybe we are CPU bound, that's possible. The FPS isn't consistent, but the GPU temperatures aren't as high as they can be. So maybe we are not utilizing the GPU as much as it should. So maybe there is a CPU bottleneck or the phone is throttling too much here. And man, when I enabled the rainy weather, it absolutely crushed the performance. But man, this mod looks really good, makes me want to replay GTA San Andreas for the nth time. Next, we take a quick look at PS2 emulation performance. So for this, I ran God of War 2 at 4x resolution. And the iQOO Neo 10 performed well, maintaining almost perfect 60 FPS with a maximum temperature of 44.5 degrees centigrade and maintained a good 7.23 watts of SoC power. That said, the rise in temperatures was actually quite sharp in this test. Moving back into some native Android gaming, let's try Zenless Zone 0. Now I'm only going to play the intro levels, which I know isn't that demanding, but I just don't play any gacha games, guys, so yeah, forgive me. So I'm playing this game at the highest graphics settings, as you saw. So overall, the Neo 10 did well in the opening stages, close to 60 FPS average. There was a lot of cutscenes, so the FPS dropped, but overall it's pretty close to 60 FPS. It didn't get too hot as well, and the overall power usage was pretty low. So, this opening stages aren't as demanding, but the iQOO Neo 10 did pretty well. Next, we got a bit of CarX Street using maximum settings. And man, what a crappy game this is. It doesn't even look good. It has lots of aliasing, dog water optimization. The device isn't hot at all. GPU temps are just in the 60s, but the FPS just around 40 FPS in this race. Pretty disappointing. I mean, it is the game to be blamed, guys. Grid Autosport looked a million times better than this and also ran much better than this steaming pile of goat poop. Finally, we got Wuthering waves at max graphics settings, no FSR upscaling. And the performance is still limited by the CPU. If the phone isn't doing any funny business, as you can see, we are basically playing at maximum settings, but still the GPU temperatures aren't as high as it should be. I'm using GPU temps to gauge the GPU load. Basically, higher GPU load equal to higher GPU temps, as I don't have the GPU load information using any application. So from what I see, we are well under 60 FPS, but the GPU isn't loaded as much as it should be, as indicated by the GPU temperatures. So we are having a CPU bottleneck. But our theory would only be true if the phone isn't doing any funny business like holding back performance, since this is not AnTuTu. And finally, looking at the performance, I think the phone was behaving properly only. As you see, there's a gradual drop in performance over 25 minutes of gameplay session, dead on 45 FPS average with a maximum temperature of 47.3 degrees centigrade while maintaining an average of 7.37 watts of SoC power. This is good playable performance in my opinion. Alright guys, so that was my in-depth performance and thermal throttling analysis of the iQOO Neo 10. Unlike the iQOO 13, which is a much more expensive phone, I won't complain much about the iQOO Neo 10. I think it can still perform a bit better and more importantly avoid that only push full performance in AnTuTu thing. Other than that, the performance is fine. In fact, pretty good and totally acceptable for this price. My main shtick about iQOO is that iQOO phones need to be absolutely perfect at gaming. They need to absolutely slay gaming performance because that's what they're marketed for. That's their whole USP. So I don't want to have to complain about performance at all. Performance needs to be perfect as per the capabilities of the SoC. No funny business, no unnecessary throttling. I'm okay with high temperatures because there are ways to lower temperatures like thermoelectric coolers. But if a gaming oriented phone aggressively throttles, sacrificing performance for lower temperatures even in the highest performance mode, then even using thermoelectric coolers won't help guys. Thankfully, the iQOO Neo 10 doesn't throttle aggressively all the time. It can still do a bit better in some instances, but overall it's fine I would say. Alright, with that said, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video and what are your opinions about the iQOO Neo 10. Please consider supporting this independent non-sponsored content by hitting that subscribe button and turning on all notifications. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.